welcome to Arise and Start, because fortune definitely awaits the bold. Good morning to you, and you are listening to Unizik 94 the 1 FM, your favorite Tuesday morning program, already 8:30 till 9. Of course, it's time for Arise and Start. And today on the program, I have Dr. Ugochukwu Ifediora. He is in the studio live and direct, and together we're going to ensure that you learned something today. We apologize for not being there last week Tuesday. But we're here, and of course today we promise that we have something very special for you. Doc, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good to have you. You're looking bright and very sharp today. I think it comes with August this time.
Yeah, it's August break.
August break.
Yes, I went for August meeting.
No, but I called out to the meeting in the room. Okay, Doc, welcome, and I'm sure you have something very juicy for us this morning. It's a brand new month, and we're doing it for the first time this month. So, what are we looking at, Doc?
Okay, good morning, Echo. Good morning, our listeners and viewers on Facebook. So, last month we delved into the entrepreneur's mindset.
Yes.
So this month we're going to be focusing on something very, very important for every entrepreneur. Okay. Which is building a business that lasts. So the whole essence of business is for you to build something that lasts, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So the series for the month, but for today, number one on that series is building systems and not just business, because how great businesses survive, grow, or outlive. We're going to be talking about how great businesses survive, grow, and outlive their founders. Because if you noticed, across, let me use Nigeria for example, you find out that most businesses, the founders build it to a certain extent, and then when they die, it looks like the business died. So, but if you look in the Western world, you see businesses that were founded 60 years ago, 100 years ago, so
still thriving.
Yeah. So the founders were able to move it from one generation to another. Even why, on their grave, their businesses are still going on. So it all boils down to system. It's something every entrepreneur should build daily and inculcate in their business, including me myself.
Even me myself too. I have to enter that way.
All right. So I'll start with an introductory quote. If you stop, or rather an introductory question, if you stop working today for just about a month, what will happen to your business? You stop working today for about a month or 3 months, what will happen to your business? Will it close down? Will your employees still continue what you are doing? Will customers be served? Will complaints be attended as if you were still around? These are the things, that happens to, when a business revolves around one person. But if a business, is built to be a system that operates outside, the owner or the founder, then you're talking of a business that has been built to last.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So the true measure of a business is not how hard the owner works, but how well the business works when the owner is absent.
That's a lovely quote. I think this is one problem I love entrepreneurs, especially in this part of the world, have, where if they're not there, in the scene, the business has issues. So I think it's something that we really need to, work on. Because most times when the CEO is not there, things are not just going well the way it ought to go. But why is that so?
Okay, so it boils down to having a system for your business. And, when we talk about system, it's not something that is complex. Just a short definition of what I call a business system is a simple, repeatable way of getting things done consistently. So if you have something that you do or a set of activities that you do, in your business repeatedly, then you can structure that activity in such a way that anybody, mustn't be you, you can document that process. You make it documented in such a way that if someone is absent, another person can go through the process required for it and still actively perform it. So I usually like giving examples of some of the famous fast foods we have. So if you go to, okay, let's start with restaurants we have in Nigeria here. So if you go to Chicken Republic, you find out that it's the same menu. The same menu across and the same recipe across board. Chicken Republic in Enugu, Chicken Republic in Oka is still the same. Their chicken taste the same. And why is that? Do you think it's one person that cooks everything, and then goes to another place to make the same cooking? No, it's a system that has been established in such a way that they have a process, they have a guideline, and everybody follows that guideline. So system, when we talk about system, is not complex. It's just building a guide around your business operations. Building a guide that people can understand and that your workers can understand. It also entails giving your workers, training, constant training on the processes of improved, ways of doing things in your business. Let me quickly give a very familiar example. There's this fellow, one of the major brands in Aba now. So this guy, started out like every other tailor, in Aba, So the tailor cuts the clothes, the same person cuts the clothes, measures, does the designs, goes out to buy things and all that. So if he's sick, if he gave you an appointment to come and collect your clothes in 3 weeks' time and he falls sick, that has been extended, and then, if there's a family event or something, and if anything happens to him one way or the other, that means that he won't be available in a shop. What it means is that whatever timing he gave you has been extended.
Yes.
So and then you this is typical of most businesses around. So you find out that you want to ask these guys or these businessmen or entrepreneurs whether their business is running them or they are running their business.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but as this fellow once shared, he said that somebody asked him a question. So does it mean that I think he was sewing for somebody and then something happened? I think he got sick or something. So the person got consigned. I think the person is a consultant. So he got asking him. So does it mean that if anything happens to you, or maybe you have an urgent matter to attend, that everything stops? That's not how to run a business. You need to create a system around your business. Employ, right? If you know the procedures it takes you to do anything or activity, document them. If you have to record the process, record it. And then when you employ people, use the same process to teach them, so that everybody learns the guideline around each of the processes you take. Everybody learns or even actually watches you after, we're in an era of, social media.
Yeah,
so
digital era.
So most of our phones have camera. So if you video the process, so whenever you're teaching somebody, or you recruit a new person, the person can learn, when the person watches the video or goes through the guideline, you're already building a system. Building system is not something that is abstract. It's something that is quite practical. It's just like teaching your daughter or your son how to do something in the house, so that for example, you teach your daughter how to wash your car. After like maybe 5 sessions in the process of washing the car, he or she will be able to wash the car because you have seen the process.
Yes.
That is a system. There's nothing complex about it.
Wonderful. And that's awesome. So it boils down to having a system, and maintaining that system. Now, what I wanted to ask is, how do you ensure that there's no loophole in the system? How do you make it tight enough to be able to, because you talked about a food place that has the same process and it didn't differ. You know, if you test it here, it's still the same thing. So let's say you want to expand. How do you ensure that this thing also cuts across, you know, to other branches that you have?
Okay, so you can't separate training from systems, you know. Like I usually say, hard work builds a business, but system multiplies it. And that's the question you're asking. Now, the key thing is training. You know, one thing is documenting the process and creating a process around what you do. But another thing is taking time to teach the people you employ on how to do that. And beyond teaching, you supervise it, because anything you don't supervise doesn't go the way you planned it, you know. So the training and supervision are key to sustaining systems. You know, system is not, you know, it's not like a robot that you program it into what he wants to do, like Elon Musk's robots now. When you program it, you program what you want it to do, and then you leave it. You don't need to supervise it. No, we are human beings, right? So the constant training, you could bring out every month, bring out some days every month, maybe 2 or 3 months, 2 or 3 days every month, you know, to have, you know, trainings where you get the people you employ to actually do what you taught them, so that you see and, you know, point out 1 or 2 mistakes, you know, and then you also get them to always go through the guideline, you know, to see, you know, whether they are getting what they are doing
or not.
And then your supervision must not be joke. You must not joke with it. And sometimes you do unannounced supervision. You know,
just coming on them and see what they're doing.
See what they are doing. You know, that way you'll be able to, you know, keep them on their toes and then sustain the system. And over time, when you employ a new person, let the people you've taught teach the new people. That's how you know if they're able to, you know, pass that knowledge, you know you've actually built something, you know, you can call a system.
Wow. Interesting. Go ahead, though.
All right. So, and basically, there are 5 systems every entrepreneur should build on. And number 1 is sales system. So how do customers find you? You know, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself while you're building this system. How do customers find you? Who responds to inquiries? And how do you close a sale? You know, because great businesses don't leave sales for chance, because if you're not making money and your last point of contact to money is sales, your sales team. So you have to build a strong system. Very, very important. Another system entrepreneurs should consider is customer service system. You know, how do you satisfy your customers? How do you attend to complaint, and how quickly do you do that? You know, so is your customer service centered on you? So when you're not around, how fast do your workers or employees, you know, attend to such you know, complaints? You know, customer service system is very important. Then another very crucial system is the financial system. Very, very key, because you know, if there are leakages here and there, then you're having a problem. You know, you're having a problem. So, and for financial systems, I think a lot of businesses have really, you know, done a lot when it comes to, you know, handling the financial system. So you see a lot of businesses using automated, you know, cash receipt. You see a lot of businesses using their computers and you know, their receipts are, you know, quite automated, that it enables them to, you know, track, you know, sales, expenses, income, and what have you. Also, you can also use softwares. There are a lot of financial softwares, you know, that can be, you know, integrated into your cash receipts automated system. So at the end of the month, you see how much you have in your supply, how much you need to, or rather, how many items you have in your supply, how much you've made, you know, your profit and all that. All these, you know, there are a lot of softwares and automated systems for financial systems now that entrepreneurs can, inculcate or rather integrate into their business, to take it to the next level.
Okay, what I wanted to ask is, you talked about customer feedback.
Yeah.
And when it comes to customer feedback, it could go two ways. Either the customer is complimenting you for a job well done, or is complaining about something.
Yeah.
Now, there's something I've noticed about a lot of entrepreneurs in Nigeria. They don't have, the finesse when it comes to taking criticism or taking complaints from customers and making sure that the customer is satisfied, especially if it's a big franchise. Now, a franchise has grown over the years and become very big. They have a lot of people that are, servicing, who are using their services. They'll be like, it's just one person now. But I feel that if one person is complaining and is not attended to, one person could multiply to 10, to 100, to 1,000 at the end of the day. And sometimes a lot of them think it's rich people that's doing them, but I think it's about you being able to know how to make your customer happy, because like I said, customer is always right. So how do you put all that together?
So we're in a very digital world now. So if a customer is happy, the chances of the customer sharing about the satisfaction across board is high.
Yeah, very.
But if a customer has been attended poorly or is sad, the chances of the customer sharing that experience and kind of warning other people,
everything.
Yeah, there's always something to learn. So I know a lot of great companies that actually depend on customers to develop new products.
Wow.
Yeah, depend on customers' complaints,
or praises
to develop. So once there's a lot of praise coming for this feature, they're okay, good. Let's improve on it. But once there's a lot of complaint coming on a particular feature, they'll be like, okay, let's downplay this or actually remove it, or even ask customers how do they think this can be improved on. So I think a business that doesn't understand, the power of customer complaints or praise, it's in this century or in this time, doesn't have is not built to last, because there are a lot of competitors around you, and people can, and customers, because there are a lot of competitors around us, customer behavior are very dynamic. People can use this, and before you get them back,
it's a problem.
So then the last on my list is people system. I know you talked about how people are recruited and all that. Yeah. So very, very important, because in the end you want to recruit people that can deliver on the job, and also people that can be trained, and because your number one system in the end are the people, because they are the key component that drives inside one person's head. So everything you know about your business, you should find a way to distribute it around the people you work with, so that they can deliver and become a vital part of the system you're creating for your business.
This is awesome. And I think this is something that every entrepreneur actually needs to hear, because we're in a part of the world where customer experience is different.
And what most businesses don't know is this: the way you attend to a customer's complaint can actually retain the customer. It can actually build trust. So trust is built on how you relate to customers. So if a customer, complain about something, and you're attentive to what the person is saying, and you said, okay, we're going to work on this, and then it's going to be better. Now the customer can trust that you have a ear, to listen to what he or she is complaining about. And then even the most powerful thing is, if after you resolve whatever it is the customer complaint, and you get back to the customer, and you're like, okay, we've done this, and this is how far. Tell me if that customer will ever leave.
And the customer will bring more customers. A satisfied customer, is more like an avenue to 100 more customers.
Yeah, because word of mouth has been proven to be the best way to bring, your customers and retain them. Because if someone I trust, there are some things I don't buy until I talk to people that have bought it. That's all. I might not even see the ad. But so far as someone I trust have used it and
it's
given
very
me
nice.
a testimony, word of mouth, I will use it. You know, so that's how vital customers are to money-making business.
Customers are very vital, so don't play with your customers. Even if it's one customer you have, don't play with that one. That one can bring you so many customers. That's what we don't understand from this part of the country, because one person can bring so many people. That's how it works. As long as the person is satisfied with whatever service that you are given. Doc, time is up. We need to go. So finally, social media handles. And
you can follow me on my social media handles at Doc Ugo Ifedera. That's DRUGO. Then Ifedera. And you can follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You know, share your questions and share topics you would like us to share on.
Yeah, Doc is on X, the biggest platform right now, social media platform. Anyways, so we'll have to go. Our time is up, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday, God willing, by 8:30. Please join us, and you will have a lot to learn, because Doc is loaded, his experience, and you know, the good thing about it is that he's also in the field, so he's not saying something theoretically. These are things he has also experienced himself. Myself, the learn from Doc. Anyways, 9 Igbo timeout comes on your radio. It's bye for now.